So welcome back to this lesson. So in this lesson that we have before us, we'll be looking at the continuation of where we start, which is the constitutional layer of CADA. In the previous lesson, we looked at AI governance, ways of implementing AI governance, security. So MCP and AI must be secured with company policy and governance. And the PII information, we say it must be redacted, data must be encrypted at rest in motion, and implement least privilege and rule-based access control, where the agent access only what's or the data that they need, do not expose or personally identification information to the agent. Please, if this is your first time, please kindly like and subscribe to the channel to encourage us, help your girl. Thank you. So the constitutional layer of CADA. So constitutional layer of CADA is just like the governance layer, okay? Like constitution is just like a collection of all the collection of all executive, collection of managers, collection of governing bodies of a particular department or a particular enterprise. So also in CADABA, in agentic system architecture, you have the constitutional layer, which govern everything, oversee all the activities of the agent. So it's just like the COE, where you have Center of Excellence of Agentic Operation, you have COE of AI, COE of of every governance body in every system. So agents also have their COE, which is just like the governance bodies or governance agents, collection of governance agents that you have together. So constitutional layer of CADABA should implement deterministic policy. It should be built on deterministic policies. These are hard code that check agent plan before execution. So policy must be hard coded into the brain of the agent so that every action will be passed through the policy before it is released or before it is carried out. Budget enforcer. So there must be policy that will enforce a certain threshold of budget, a certain level of token usage that must not be exceeded in the agentic system design. So when you enforce budget guardrail or threshold, then whenever that threshold is reached, the agent will stop working because it has reached this threshold. You can see it is designed into Claude. That Claude will implement certain tasks and say you have finished your token usage for now. Come back in the next 3 hours. So that's how they implement the budget threshold. A middleware that cuts off an agent if it spent too much. So this budget enforcer can be a middleware that will stop an agent or cut it off if it spent too much from the system. The budget threshold does not stop the entire system. It will only cut off a particular agent that is spending too much. And then you will now look into the agent, look at what is wrong and redesign it. Then we have red teaming. So these are intentional attempts to break the agent during development. So red teaming are also constitutional layer that that will be attempted to break the agent during development to see if they are resilient. So they are used for checking resiliency in agentic system. So the architecture layer of CADABA should also include constitutional layer, where you have a hard-coded deterministic policy, budget enforcer middleware that will enforce budget and cut off an agent when it exceeds threshold of a token that is appointed to it, and the red teaming, which will particularly break the agent to see if it is weak or if it will not be secure. Then we have human oversight. So owners versus users. Remember, previously we said that every agent should have an owner, okay? And if there's an owner, there will also be people that use the agent every day. So human oversight, we have business owner. These are responsible for return on investment and strategic value. So business owner owns the business objective and business metric. So they should also own the return on investment of the agent and the value that his agent is generating for the business domain. We have the technical owner. So these are people responsible for latency, cost, and reliability. They are operation engineers. that is responsible for cost, latency, and reliability of the agent. So all these people collect observability metric from the agent in order to determine whether the agent is generating too much cost, or is slow to respond, or whether it is reliable or not, whether the whether it's missing the SLA or SLI, or it needs debugging. So all those things, they collect it using open telemetry. If it is on Azure, you can use Azure Monitor to collect log analytic workspace with KQL to analyze log in real time. Then Azure Application Insight, where you can also collect metrics and visualization and visualize the metric in real time. So all these tools, Azure Monitor, Azure Application Insight, they are also built on open telemetry. And if you are using open source, you can use Grafana for visualization and Prometheus for log collection. Risk owner. So the risk owners are responsible for compliance and safety audits. Okay, so risk owner own the risk. They are the one that implement guardrail and audits, governance and policy. So if an agent is operating outside the boundary of policy that has been coded into it, then the risks owner, they will take action. It's either they stop the agent and withdraw the agent, or block the agent, or they escalate to technical owner to look into the operation and redevelop, submit to developer to redevelop the agent. So risk owner audits all the activity of the agent, and they also set the guardrail or governance and policy. Then the user, you have the users are the beneficiary who provides the daily feedback loop. So you have the business owner. Okay, business owner may be a particular department manager, or maybe a supply chain manager or finance manager or something, owns the business, okay, owns the return on investment and strategic value for the entire organization. Then the users are the people that you interact with the agentic AI user interface every time, all the day. So to get feedback, whether you need a success or failure feedback, you get feedback from their hand. So I use this feedback to retrain the agent. So these are the stakeholders involved in a agentic AI operation: business owner, technical owner, risk owner, and the end users. So stakeholder alignment. So you can't just design an agent in an enterprise without carrying the stakeholder along. Even though you are a manager cannot issue an order to develop an agent without informing the CEO. So stakeholder must be properly be in alignment. They must be informed and carried along when developing agentic AI in an organization. So communication ROI. So in stakeholders, we have executives. These are CEO, CTO, CFO, and CTOs, and all the Cs, okay, the C-suites. So executive focus on market positioning and cost reduction. So when you take it to them, their interest is how much cost is it generating, what value is it adding to the business. So that is their own take, because their own is maximize profit and minimize loss or cost. So you should be able to know how to explain the value of the agents to them. Explain the value in terms of return on investment, in terms of adding value, in terms of financial benefit, in terms of cost reduction, and in terms of time reduction on the part of the employee. Then we have the domain experts. So the domain experts are like managers in specific business domain. So you have the executives that sit on top, then you have the managers, which are the domain experts, which have the knowledge of every activities in a particular business domain or department. For example, a procurement manager knows every procurement processes up to even the analysis level and administration. A supply chain manager knows all the activities and tasks of the supply chain processes, and how even from the highest to the lowest one. And then the finance manager knows all the operations and activity and processes of finance department. So those are the domain experts, okay, that must be involved in communicating ROI. And then we have the IT and security. So we have IT manager, chief security officers, etc. They are also part of the stakeholder. So they focus on data leakage, setting guardrail governance and implementing company policy. Okay, they ensure that policy governance is integrated into the agentic system. So or MCP or APIs are not exposed to prompt injection. So they focus on data leakage and integration complexity. We also have the end user as part of the stakeholder. So end user focus on how does this make my job easy. So end user doesn't, well, most of them nothing concerns them with, how much money is the application generating for the company. Those are the business of stakeholder executives. They care about the money. End users care about effort they are putting in and how stressless or stressful it is for them to implement. So they focus on how does this make my job easier. Okay, does it stress me or does it relieve me of the stress I'm currently going through?
Dun,
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 dun.
dun.
All
All
right,
right,
the
the
next
next
thing
thing
we
we
have
have
here
here
is
is
overcoming
overcoming
AI
AI
resistance
resistance
in
in
the
the
workforce.
workforce.
So
So
how
how
can
can
we
we
overcome
overcome
AI
AI
resistance?
resistance?
Plenty
Plenty
people
people
still
still
hate
hate
AI
AI
because
because
they
they
think
think
it
it
will
will
take
take
their
their
job.
job.
So
So
meanwhile,
meanwhile,
I
I
don't
don't
think
think
AI
AI
can
can
totally
totally
wipe
wipe
your
your
job.
job.
So
So
if
if
you
you
don't
don't
want
want
AI
AI
to
to
take
take
your
your
job,
job,
what
what
you
you
should
should
learn
learn
is
is
how
how
to
to
use
use
AI,
AI.
okay,
Okay,
to
so
improve
improve
your
your
job.
job.
So
So
if
if
your
your
manager
manager
has
has
been
been
complaining
complaining
that
that
your
your
output
output
is
is
low,
low,
your
your
you know what
what
you
you
don't
don't
meet
meet
up
up
with
with
time,
time,
you
you
are
are
always
always
delivering
delivering
late.
late.
You
You
should
should
learn
learn
most
most
of
of
these
these
AI
AI
tools
tools
to
to
make
make
your
your
work
work
faster,
faster,
improve
improve
your
your
report
report
generation,
generation,
improve
improve
your
your
analysis,
analysis,
and
and
also
also
add
add
value
value
to the
to the
business
business
through
through
AI.
AI.
That
That
is
is
how
how
you
you
will
will
not
not
lose
lose
your
your
job.
job.
Make
Make
yourself
yourself
relevant
relevant
by
by
learning
learning
the
the
AI
AI
tool
tool
and
and
learning
learning
additional
additional
tool.
tool.
So
So what
what
is
is currently
currently
going
going
to
to
happen in
happen
the
in the
world
world
is
is
multidisciplinary
multidisciplinary
approach.
approach.
You
You
know,
know,
so
so
maybe
maybe
an
an
employee,
employee,
let's
let's
say
say
an
an
accountant
accountant
that
that
know
know
how
how
to
to
use
use
AI,
AI,
that
that
understand
understand
mathematics
mathematics
and
and
also
also
understand
understand
legal
legal
operation
operation,
will
will
be
be
preferred
preferred
than
than
just
just
an
an
accountant
accountant
that
that
have
have
only
only
ICAN,
ICAN,
that
that
understand the
understand the
mathematics
mathematics
and
and
doesn't
doesn't
understand
understand
how
how
to
to
relate
relate
accounting
accounting
principle
principle
with
with
legal
legal
operation,
operation,
with
with
IT
IT
operation,
operation,
with
with
human
human
resources
resources
operation,
operation,
and
and
all
all
those
those
things.
things.
So
So
learning
learning
more,
more,
putting
putting
yourself
yourself
out
out
there
there
to
to
continuously
continuously
learn
learn
and
and
continuously
continuously
learn
learn
how
how
to
to
use
use
this
this
tool
tool
is
is
what
what
will
will
make
make
you
you
irreplaceable
irreplaceable
by
by
AI.
AI.
And
And
then
the
leadership
leadership
skill
skill
is
is
also
also
very
very
important.
important.
Strategic
Strategic
thinking
thinking
and
and
decision
decision
making
making
are
are
what
what
will
will
make
make
you
you
irreplaceable
irreplaceable
in
in
an
an
enterprise.
enterprise.
So
So
how
how
do
do
can
can
one
one
overcome
overcome
AI
AI
resistance
resistance
in the
in the
workforce?
workforce?
The
The
first
first
thing
thing
to
to
do
do
is
is
augmentation
augmentation
over
over
replacement.
replacement.
So
So
AI
AI
should
should
be
be
implemented
implemented
as
as
an
an
augmented.
augmented.
It
It
should
should
be
be
added
added
instead
instead
of
of make
using
using
it
it
to
to
replace
replace
human
human
being.
being.
So
So
highlighting
highlighting
how
how
agents
agents
remove
remove
drudge
drudge
work.
work.
So
So AI can replace,
AI
AI
can
can
perform
perform
tasks
tasks
that
that
follow
follow
pattern
pattern
or
or
repeated
repeated
or
or
repetitive
repetitive
tasks.
tasks.
So
So
where
where
tasks
tasks
that
that
involve
involve
strategic
strategic
decision
decision
will
will
still
still
be
be
taken
taken
up
up
by
by
human
human
being.
being.
So
So
skill
skill
empowerment,
empowerment,
showing
showing
how
how
AI
AI
lets
lets
junior
junior
staff
staff
perform
perform
at a
at a
senior
senior
level.
level.
Okay,
Okay,
so
so
AI
AI
empower
empower
people.
people.
For
For
example,
example,
look
look
at me
at
now.
now.
I'm a
I'm a
data
data
engineer.
engineer.
Also
Also
And
And
now
now
look
look
at
at
me
me
teaching
teaching
you
you
agentic
agentic
AI
AI
products,
products,
okay?
okay?
Because
Because
I've
I've
learned
learned
all
all
this
this
thing.
thing.
I
I
learned
learned
this
this
too,
too,
how
how
to
to
use
use
them.
them. I can,
I'm
I'm
a
a
data
data
engineer.
engineer.
I
I
can
can
do
do
data
data
analysis.
analysis,
I can
can
build
build
machine
machine
learning
learning
model.
model.
I
I
can
can
also
also
develop
develop
an
an
agentic
agentic
AI.
AI.
And
And
then
then
look
look
at
at
me
me
now.
now.
I'm
I'm
not a
not a
product
product
manager.
manager.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
have the
have the
certification,
certification,
so
so
I'm
I'm
still
still
learning
learning
it.
it.
Look
Look
at
at
me
me
teaching
teaching
you
you
agentic
agentic
AI
AI
product
product
management.
management.
So
So
this
this
is
is
the
the
future
future
of
of
work.
work.
You
You
should
should
empower
empower
yourself
yourself
by
by
learning
learning
how
how
to
to
use
use
this
this
tool,
tool,
by
by
going
going
outside the
outside the
box,
box,
learn
learn
beyond
beyond
all
all
your
your certificate,
you
you
learn
learn
beyond
beyond
your
your
university
university
certificate,
certificate,
learn
learn
outside
outside
of
of
your
your
capability,
capability,
and
and
combine
combine
the
the
knowledge
knowledge
together
together
to
to
improve
improve
business
business
process.
process,
Make
make
yourself
yourself
relevant,
relevant,
okay,
okay,
in
in
the
the
industry.
industry.
Transparency.
Transparency,
Being
be
honest
honest
about
about
limitation
limitation
to
to
avoid
avoid
overhyping
overhyping
agentic
agentic
system.
system.
So
So
do
do
not
not
overhype.
overhype.
Do
Do
not
not
say
say
the
the
system
system
is
is
perfect
perfect
when
when
it
it
is
is
not
not
perfect.
perfect.
Do
Do
not
not
say
say
agent
agent
can
can
do
do
this
this
when
when
it
it
can
can
actually
actually
not.
not.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So
avoid
avoid
overhyping
overhyping
agentic
agentic
or application
application
as
as
a
a
product
product
manager.
manager.
Okay.
Okay,
I
I
know
know
you
you
understand the
understand the
product,
product,
you've
you've
read
read
in
in
and
and
out of
out
the
of the
product,
product,
you are
you
the
are the
one
one
managing
managing
the
the
product,
product,
overseeing the
overseeing the
development
development
and
and
everything.
everything,
But
but
still
still
don't
don't
overhype.
overhype.
Okay.
Okay,
Everything in
everything in
software
software
development
development
is
is
probability.
probability.
It
It
may
may
work
work
and
and
it
it
may
may
not
not
work.
work.
That's
That's
why
why
no
no
software,
software,
no
no
application
application
is
is
perfect
perfect
at
at
one
one
time.
time.
You
You
continually
continually
improve
improve
it,
it,
and
and
it
it
moves
moves
toward
toward
perfection.
perfection.
Because
Because
if
if
you
you
overhype,
overhype,
what
what
if
if
it
it
disappoints?
disappoints?
The
The
company
company
will
will
lose
lose
trust
trust
in
in
you.
you.
People
People
will
will
not
not
trust
trust
your
your
product.
product.
And
And
next
next
time,
time,
when
when
you
you
have,
have,
an
an
idea
idea
of a
of a
better
better
product,
product,
nobody
nobody
will
will
believe
believe
you.
you.
So
So
avoid
avoid
overhyping.
overhyping.
Give
Give
room
room
for
for
possibility
possibility
of
of
or
or
negative
negative
feedback
feedback
or
or
failure.
failure.
Okay.
Okay.
Then
Then
managing
managing
the
the
agent's
agent's
life
life
cycle
cycle
at
at
scale.
scale.
How
How
can
can
one
one
manage
manage
the
the
agent's
agent's
life
life
cycle
cycle
from
from
production,
production,
from
from
inception,
inception,
okay,
okay,
to
to
production,
production,
to
to
deployment,
deployment,
and to
and to
usage?
usage?
How
How
is
is
the
the
life
life
cycle
cycle
being
being
managed?
managed?
So
So
the
the
first
first
thing
thing
is
is
discovery.
discovery.
So
So
identifying the
identifying the
next
next
automation
automation
opportunity.
opportunity.
So
So
when
when
you know product
product
management
management
is
is
repetitive.
repetitive. You know,
When you
when you
finish
finish
one
one
product,
product,
then
then
what
what
you
you
should
should
be
be
looking
looking
after,
after
enjoying
enjoying
yourself,
yourself,
celebrating
celebrating
yourself
yourself
for the
for the
success
success
and
and
everything.
everything.
You
You
look
look
out
out
for
for
another,
another,
you
you
look
look
out
out
for
for
taking
taking
on
on
another
another
product,
product,
developing
developing
another
another
one.
one.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So
after you
after you
finish
finish
one
one
product,
product,
you
you
should
should
identify
identify
the
the
next
next
automation
automation
opportunity.
opportunity.
So
So
if you
if you
finish
finish
developing
developing
for,
for,
if you
if you
finish
finish
managing a
managing a
product
product
and
and
deliver
deliver
a
a
product
product
for
for
finance
finance
department,
department,
uh,
for example, the next thing you should do is move to human resources department, identify their problem, their business objective, meet with the stakeholders, business owners, business users, collect their pain points and everything, their business objective, and then you start thinking of ways of automating the process again. Then when you do that, the next thing is testing. Rigid evaluation before any production access. Every agent must be tested before deployed into production. That is why we have a repository. So there is what we call the development branch. This is where the all the developer develop and put their code. Then it's from development branch, a pull request will be made that will pull the code into staging. So staging is where agent is tested. All the functions are tested using unit test. All the agents are tested. Okay, or you perform integration testing, regression testing, end-to-end testing as well. Okay, and then test the prompts as well, whether it is working well. So testing is very important, and it is done as staging in delivery, in development and delivery. Then we have monitoring. So track drift, cost and sentiment in real time. So drift must be tracked. The way the agents behave and everything must be tracked. Track data changes so that the model doesn't start changing behavior. Track cost and token usage, and the sentiment, how the agents behave over time, must also be tracked by collecting observability and evaluation metrics. Then we have sunset, which is the last one. So this is retiring the agents that are no longer accurate or valuable. So when the agent no longer add value to the system, when it doesn't, when the task of the agent is no longer in the business process, then you retire the agent. you withdraw the agent from operation. It's retire. Just like human being, when you reach certain age, maybe 60, you retire and then you go and rest. So agents also retire when they are no longer relevant in the system. The Calabar Governance Council. So in the Calabar Governance Council, we have the following operations. We have the new agent proposals. So the Calabar architecture is always there and it has its governance. So if you are a product manager, you are not developing cognitive architecture. The architecture is already there. All you need to look for is opportunity of developing new agents and deploying it into the Calabar architecture. So look for new agent proposals, okay? Go to business domain, business owners, look for their pain points, turn into an agent. Are they worth the risk or cost? Determine whether they are worth the risk or cost. Then the next thing you should do is incident report. What went wrong when an agent failed? Okay, so if an agent fails, does it affect the business? Does it make the company lose money or does it slow down operations? The policy updates. How do new regulation affect our architecture? So if there is a new regulation, maybe there are some other security details being added to the company policy. How do you integrate this policy into the Calabar architecture again with the old policy? So it must also be added so that the agent will adopt it and begin to work with it. The strategic roadmap. Which department is next for autonomy? So always determine the department that is next for autonomy. Do not just design for one department, carry other departments along and also design for them. Then building the future of business with Kadaba. So Kadaba is the future of business. Kadaba is the future of enterprise enterprise businesses and platform. So because what we are moving toward is enterprise autonomy or autonomous system in enterprise where agents handle everything and then you have human supervise. Okay. So the next thing to implement to plan for the future of Kadaba in a business enterprise, the first thing you should consider is scaling. So intelligent that grows without adding headcount. Okay, so always scale agent. When the tasks become too much for one agent, you can scale the agent. Okay, you can deploy agents into availability zones so that if one fail, it's the task automatically fail over to the agent that is available in another zone and so on and so forth. Then we have speed. So decisions that happen in seconds, not days. So you should also design for speed. Latency must be very low. Okay, response time of agent must be very low. Not action that will take days. So if action will still take days or weeks, why are you designing agent? Why not just leave human to do it? Then trust. Govern autonomy that keeps the organization safe. So agents must be trustworthy. There must be hard-coded policy and governance into the system that will bound the agents to the company without letting it escape or being intruded by external, prompt injection. So agents must be bounded. They are autonomous, but they must be bounded within policy and guardrail. Then we have agility. So a cognitive architecture that learns and adapts to market shifts. So, cognitive architecture, even though it's a framework, it must not be rigid. It must be flexible. You must be able to. It must be improvable so that if there is any shift in market, then it also be new with the market. It updates based on the market. So, Kadaba should not be a platform that will expire. It must always accommodate change. So, this is the future of business with Kadaba. Make it agile, make it flexible, iterative, uh, make it a system that can be renewed, make it trustworthy by including governance, guardrail, and policy. The speed, make it very fast, low latency, and response time, and it must be scalable. So intelligent grows, Kadaba also must grow along with the agents. Building the autonomous enterprise through bounded autonomy. So, this is the end of this course, and this is how you can build bounded autonomy. So, if all the design that I've explained here, architecture layer, governance, guardrail, Kadaba architecture, designing raw database, memory engineering, prompt engineering, and all the type and fine tuning and various form of fine tuning are implemented. Then we are moving toward building autonomous enterprise, autonomous company, where you have CEO agent, CTO agent, CFO agent, and all the agents working together as a unit and performing operation that human can easily perform. And human will just stay there and supervise the agent and take strategic decision. So this is the final information that we have here. So final synthesis: start with value, scale with governance, and learn continuously. So start by looking at the value that the product can add to the company, scale with governance, make sure the product implement within the company governance principle and are coded with policy, with guardrail and bounded, always bounded. Okay, autonomy must be bounded always. Then make sure that we design a system that learns continuously. So agentic system should be a system that learns continuously, recursively, and continue reinforces each other by performing and giving out the best as time goes. And even as a product manager, again, you may be an AI product manager last year, but this year look at the rise of agentic AI system. So you should also learn more of this thing, how they work, so you can successfully manage uh, an agentic AI system product. So this is the end of this course. Thank you for listening. Thank you for going through. Please subscribe and share with someone, and also tell them to subscribe. Encourage your girl by watching. And if you have enjoyed this course, please leave a comment. And if you know or want to consult for this operation, we build agentic AI for company. We build a procurement agent or supplier agent. We just implemented a blockchain agent where agents exchange contract within each other without blocking each other in the system. We've developed so many agents, and this Kadaba is my framework for deploying enterprise agents. So if you want to deploy an agent for your company, we can deploy the Kadaba architecture for your company. It is just one unit. It will be licensed under our company, and then you can pay for the licensing. Deployment will build the agent for you and deploy it on it, and then we can continually monitor the operation of the agent. So if you have a data engineering opportunity platform, we build data engineering platform, fabric, Azure Synapse, and everything, and then machine learning and advanced analytics and cloud monitoring or cloud operation. So thank you for listening. Please contact us. Click on the website link below. Also contact